Hello, welcome to the Game Theory and its Applications class. This is lecture 25. We are entering the ninth week of the semester. Okay, we are in the middle of applying the subgame perfect equilibrium concept to the real situations. Of course, at first I talked about first mover, second mover, etc. And commitment problem. Then we talked about the bargaining problem. Okay, and as I have announced already, the next topic would be the repeated game, or maybe it's easier to understand if I say the collusion problem. Okay, let's set up a model for this situation. We are going to think about there are two friends. Now they are Sarah and Jane. And Sarah and Jane are the only two people in the town who are selling apples. Okay, so if you live in this town, small town, in a mountainous area, if you want to have apple, you either go to Sarah's store or Jane's store. Nothing else. There's no other shop in this village. Both Sarah and Jane purchased the apple at $5 from the farmer. Okay, so they have to get at least 5 or probably more in order to make a profit. And they may sell at $6 or $8. Why? Just make an assumption. So basically, a lot higher than 5, which is $8, or a little bit higher than 5. So small margin and big margin. If the price is both 6, then Sarah and Jane respectively gets $100 profit. So the total would be 200. If the price is $8, of course, their profit would increase. Maybe a little less people will purchase apple, but still each will get 200 dollar profit. So together the market profit would be 400. But in order to set the price at a higher level, which is $8, they have to collude. Collude means the people who are sellers and producers, they do not set the price independently. They talk to each other and probably increase the price. What does that mean? Let's assume, Sarah and Jane both charge $8 and they are making $200 profit each. Okay? And let me have something like this. If Sarah and Jane charge, I said collude, which means charging $8, then Sarah gets 200, Jane gets 200. If they compete and set the price at the lowest level, which is $6, then Sarah gets 100, Jane gets $100. So you may say it's a no-brainer that Sarah and Jane will collude and 200. Or charge $8. Okay, it's a little bit confusing, but if they charge $8, and $5, $6 kind of thing. However, when they are charging $6, Sarah may be thinking, oh, we are both charging $8. What if I reduce it to $7? Because they are same apple, people immediately notice that Jane is selling the same apple at $8, but Sarah is $7. So all Jane, or considerable number of Jane's customer, would move to Sarah because it's $1 cheaper. Okay? So Jane would lose all her Apple customers, and Sarah's Apple customer would be probably almost doubled. Because her price went down, it's not going to be doubled, but 200, 300. It's just a made up number, Just don't think too much about why it's 100, 200, 300. It's basically this Sarah cut the price, and while Jane is colluding at high like $8, $7, that is the biggest profit for Sarah. If both charge $8, that's second biggest. If both charge $6, that's the lowest for Sarah. That's what I mean. Of course, if at that point Jane's profit would plummet it to be zero. Okay, why? Because she wouldn't have much customer left at all. That is the situation. Okay, so charging $8 back to here instead of $6 cannot be done kind of automatically because Sarah and Jane, if they are not friends, they would compete fiercely with the price. Therefore, like wink wink, Sarah says like, oh, let's increase from $6 to $8, may not work. However, our assumption is Sarah and Jane are friends, they can talk to each other. So Sarah and Jane have dinner together with wine and everything. Sarah says, Jane, are you making much money from Apple business? Jane said, you know very well we cannot make a lot of money because the price is low. We are purchasing at $5, but we are selling at $6. How in the world can we make a lot of money? And Sarah said, that is my point. What about increase the price a little bit to something like 8? Then our daily profit would be moving from $100 to $200. That is a lot, Jane said. That sounds good. This kind of conversation is collusion. So the next day, they increase the price, then they beginning to have a collusion. Okay? So, one bad news for you, collusion is illegal. You shouldn't do that. There is a government organization, Fair Trade Commission, 공정거래위원회. Its job is discovering, finding out the collusion and punish them. Okay? Very scary stuff. You should not do that. Okay? I told you officially do not collude. But then still, I have no proof, but still lot of companies and people out there are still colluding. It's just a temptation you cannot resist. Think about that, like from Sarah and Jane's point of view. By increasing the price from $6 to $8 per apple, they got $2 profit. But if you are not allowed to collude, but still, if you want to increase the profit per apple by $2, what can you do? You have to cut the price. Still, the price is 6 for Sarah, but the price cannot be raised because collusion is prohibited, and your counterpart, competitor, Jane is charging $6, and your margin is currently 1 because you purchased at $5. How can you increase your margin by 2, not increasing the price 6? The only way possible is cut the cost. So you have to purchase the apple not $5, but $3. Or you have to raise your own apple. If you're a farmer, your per apple cost was 5 and reduced to 3? Wow. You have to be a great scientist or something. Like you are making car and the unit cost per car is $10,000 right now. If you reduce it to instead 10,000, 9,000, 10%, wow. That's a lot of research, a lot of sleepless night, and a lot of stuff. And still, you cannot be sure if you can reduce the cost by 10%. On the other hand, your car is selling at like $15,000. And if you want to increase it to something like 18,000, which is like virtually 20% increase of the car price, if collusion is allowed, if you do collusion with your competitor, that's quite easy. You make a phone call, your friends in another company, you're like A automobile company, you call your friend at B automobile company, say like, you know, instead of the $15,000 per car, let's charge, let's say, 18,000 from tomorrow. And if that's agreed, both company increase to $18,000, the consumers has to buy either company A or B. They cannot live without a car. So even though it's 18,000, they are going to pay. Big lose for the consumers, big win for the companies. So, thinking about the make increasing profit by cutting your cost, wow, that's what the engineering students do. They never go home, like they stay at the laboratory all day, even their like undergraduate days. On the other hand, this economics business school, student, they go home early, enjoy drinking, but then what they can do, they should not do, but what they can still do is they collude and increase the price. So from company's point of view, investing huge research and development R&D on engineers, still it's not sure whether you can lower the cost. However, if you collude, voila, overnight, no money spent, nothing is it's certainty, you get a higher profit. So it's kind of easiest way to make a big money for the companies if you ever become a salesman. And actually, that's why some of the business people make more money than the engineers who working very hard, because I don't know, like it would be so tempted. You enter a automobile company, and your next door friends, next seat, who's sitting in the game theory class like 10 years ago, in Professor Hanji class, your friends, maybe Charsu, Mike, is working for company B, and you are Tom and Mike, and Tom, wow, I know the phone number of Mike, and if I talk to Mike, we can increase the price and our company make a big profit. I would be promoted, kind of thing. So collusion is illegal, but still people seems to be doing it. Okay. One funny example is I found out the Nobel Prize winners of economics, they collude too. What do you think would be the cost of inviting Nobel Prize winner for the lecture? The answer is different. If you invite scientists, physics, chemistry, biology, not very expensive. I heard that like even, I don't know, like $5,000, maybe a little bit more than like $10,000 would be more than enough. What about economics? There's a, I don't know the price right now, but 10 years ago the price was 20,000 per day. So if you ever invite Nobel Prize winner in economics for 3 days lecture, then you have to prepare to pay him $60,000 because 20,000 per day, 3 days, 60,000. But that does not include the airline fee and hotel fee. So 3 days lecture, $60,000 plus accommodation at the 5-star hotel and the airline. The first class, of course. I mean, who is deciding this price? Obviously, the natural scientist does not collude. They are the good guys, hardworking good guys. And then, they just, oh, Professor Han is my friend. Okay, I'll give you a lecture, kind of free or something. But then I heard that because two of my professors got Nobel Prize, they kind of told me that when you get a Nobel Prize in economics, the previous winner of the Nobel Prize called them and say like, oh, congratulations, you got Nobel Prize. By the way, we have a prize, we have a collusion, so that any Nobel Prize winner who, get invited for lecture, the price should be minimum 20,000 per day. Otherwise, you would be ostracized. You would not, we will not talk to you, kind of thing. So, like economists who devoted their life to prevent collusion, knew collusion is really profitable, really good, really yummy. So, when they got Nobel Prize, they make a collusion. Okay. So this collusion thing is quite common. Oh, next. But if you think, oh, the Nobel Prize winners are, but check the price. That 20,000 per day was 10 years ago price. That might be higher nowadays. But believe or not, economists are not the hardest person. Nobel Prize winner economics are not the hardest person to invite for your lecture. Actually, if you pay them the money, they are easiest. The never or most impossible people to invite for the lecture is Nobel Prize winners in literature. I mean, they do not care about money. So even though you say like, oh, how much can you pay? Oh, I don't care about the money. Many of them do not even have emails and telephones. They are just the poet or the novel list. So